Most bankers aren't ready to help you until after their third cup of coffee. But with Central National Bank's after-hours service, you don't have to wait for the bank lobby to open to get help. You can contact us from 6 to 8:30 in the morning or from 5 to 10 in the evening, and we'll connect you to a real, live, local person who can answer questions and fix problems 7 days a week. Bank different. Bank Central. Central National Bank. Member FDIC.
Bro, have you heard how Biden bodied Big Oil? First, Big Oil was like, "Rah, I'm evil, I'm gonna build a toxic methane facility." Then everyone was like, no, it literally causes cancer and asthma and heart disease, WTF. And Big Oil was like, we don't care, LMAO. Then everyone was like, all right, but what about the fact that it'll emit 200 million tons of pollution every year and kill the planet? And Big Oil was like, but think about how rich we'll be. And then everyone was like, what are we gonna do? And then Joe Biden was like, yo, watch this, and put the brakes on Big Oil's plans for all new methane facilities. Brought to you by the League of Conservation Voters. Join the fight.
This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Boobies!
That was very loud. Wow.
Well, hello.
Hi.
Hey.
It's us.
It's us. You're Boobies. This is...
Ooh.
Yeah, Boobies.
Yeah. Ooh. I don't know. Ooh. I felt like doing it tonight.
Give you a little shiver down your spine with all the spine-tingling, horror-filled things we're going to talk about.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good, frightful show.
That's right. And we are your hosts.
I am Joshua.
That's right. And I'm Caitlin.
Mm-hmm.
And as we already said, this is Boobies. Today we're drinking sake.
Some sake, right?
And mine is out of a cup that we stole from a restaurant.
Oh, it's cute.
In Vegas, I know. The other one was filled with sake from my fridge that I didn't finish the other night. And so that's why you have a mellow mushroom.
Oh, okay. But this is also from Vegas, right?
No, that's just, it was a...
Brewfest?
Yeah.
2012?
Yeah, it's like a little beer when you get a flight.
Mm-hmm. You were.
I love mellow mushroom.
Were we 21 in 2012?
Nope. I don't know where this came from, actually.
It's okay. Yeah.
I'm actually not sure where this came from at all, but I have two matching ones, so.
Yep. But well, it's cute. It's got my sake and it's working out. Mm-hmm. Well, today, Caitlin, would you like to should I mention what we're talking about today?
You should.
I should. I chose it, right?
In case you forgot, this is from...
Oh, Shudder.
That's right. We are doing our month of Shudder. This is the second to last film in the month. And this is one of Josh's picks.
It's called See For Me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
2022.
Yeah. So it's pretty recently. Yeah. It actually premiered, I think, last year at some film festival. But I have it written down somewhere. But yes, 2022. But yeah, I'm okay. So here's the thing: is I chose it because I looked up like the reviews on it, and then I also just really liked the what's the word for
the
image for the movie that when you're picking them.
Little click. What is that called?
I think people know what we're talking about.
Yeah, the little.
It was the little. Right there. I love it. I know. But it's the.
Everyone else is screaming at us
literally
right now.
Scream it at us. No, it's okay, but I think they know. It's just the image that whenever you're flipping through movies, it's their like
the
their poster, like you want a poster for a movie. And so anyways, so like really.
Do you know what that word is? Can he hear us?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And it debuted at the Tribeca Film Festival. That's where it was because it's Canadian.
Okay. Wow, they didn't even sound Canadian.
No, not really. There were no accents throughout the film.
I don't know what Canadians.
I
don't think there's.
I think there's a certain type of like
2020
probably vernacular, but I don't know if it's like an accent. But there are accents in Canada because there is like French Canadian and like I think even it's like here in America how we have kind of like more there's Southern accents, there's Boston more Eastern
Yeah, that's true.
New Yorker dialects. Yeah, so. Yeah.
Wait, so it says C for me. Original title, Mira por mí. I don't know if that is.
Meet up with me. Yeah, that's like in Spanish. So was it in Spanish? I don't know if I.
Well, mouths moved, like lined up rather nicely. So maybe, I don't know.
That's interesting.
I'm pretty sure it was originally in English. It looked like
Yeah,
it was, unless
it
they
looked like it was in English.
reshot it.
Or maybe it's inspired by like another movie or something that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that could be
possibly.
like a different thing. Maybe is that it's just inspired by a different film with the same title
Oh, Cam was cute.
in a different language.
You could only see a little bit of his face at the end, but he also.
Oh, because he had that mask on.
Mm-hmm.
So this
I'm
movie,
looking at the cast.
basically, you guys, the premise of it is we have Sophie, who's going to be house sitting a house, cat sitting. I mean, basically, but doing both in the same. And it's basically a home invasion type of style movie, which is kind of scary for everybody, I feel like. I mean, even though it's not like a super big horror, like it doesn't like.
It was suspenseful, and it had me
Throughout the whole movie, yeah.
It had me like, oh fuck, I'm really stressed.
Yeah,
But
same.
it gave me yet another fear. I think we talked about it in Scream 5 with like the electronics and stuff breaking the house. But I didn't realize there's little machines that can just completely disable your alarm system.
Oh, yeah.
Nope. What's the point of fucking having one?
Yeah.
What?
That's what the people for like the pros, but yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure that's like expensive and hard to come by. But
But then I was like, what if it's like the husband? Well, but she would have changed the security code, but maybe he still had the original thing. And since spoiler alert, the husband's behind it.
Yeah.
I kind of called that from the moment she brought up the divorce. I was like, it's going to be the husband.
Yeah.
But I thought it was maybe, I didn't realize they were going to be.
Half the movie, I was like, oh, it's Cam. Oh, it's Kelly. It's like, Kelly's in on it. Somehow. I don't know.
I never once suspected
it was the mom. This is a setup. But we have
mom
Sophie
knew all along.
watching this house. And so the big get up of this movie is she is visually impaired. She is blind. She's not always been blind. We get to learn throughout the movie that she became blind later in life after having some accomplishments. So it really adds to her character because throughout the whole movie, you're kind of getting this person who's really kind of bitter and resentful.
Oh, yes, very.
Yeah, and not really the nicest person, to be honest. But I think it serves to the purpose of the story as well, because like if you didn't have that, you would just kind of have like another like you would have a protagonist that's like you don't really care about because you're kind of getting this like in-depth like layered type of character as opposed to just someone who's just like I'm gonna survive throughout the movie and somehow make it miraculously because like luck falls my way.
Exactly.
Because in this movie too, it's not necessarily like easy. Like you see the struggle of her like going through all this, like all of it, and it's pretty believable. And actually, in real life, the actress Skylar, she is visually impaired as well.
Oh, really?
So she wasn't she wasn't acting. She really is visually impaired.
Yeah.
So I think that's great to serve to more of like telling the story as well, because it's like, representation one, and also someone who actually is visually impaired should play the role because they know what it's like, as opposed to someone kind of making a mockery of like thinking this is how it should be just from watching. Like,
yeah. That is a big thing with disabilities in general, and like,
Hollywood shouldn't be ableists.
Exactly.
Give them a job, give them work.
That's right. I was trying to look up the eye disease that she had. So
they mentioned it at one point.
Yeah, it was too fancy of a thing. I actually did find it though. Yeah.
What is it?
So it says downhill skier Sophie Scott has her Olympic dreams dashed when she is diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa, a degenerative eye disease causing blindness. Retinitis pigmentosa. If any of you guys are eyeball people and know what that means.
That's what she's got.
Yeah, the cover is so good, and it gives me very nostalgic, like, I don't know, this right here kind of gives me like the Exorcist vibes with that like
I
purple
can see what you mean.
Cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think also the lettering, the type of font, I think
like
that as
it.
well. That's what really made me choose the movie, to be honest. So
Yeah. Fuck, now I'm thinking about what is that word?
Google it while we're setting it up.
What do I even type in? What is the
image for a movie when you're choosing it on Netflix. Literally type
Word
in
for
all of that.
an image.
And so we have Sophie basically watching the house, and we have these home invaders come in, and it's kind of a wild ride as she uses this app, which we find out is why the movie's called See For Me, to help her get out of this whole mess. And she really, like, honestly, by the end of this movie, you're going to be rooting for her so damn hard, because like homegirl really, like, I've never seen a protagonist like that. I was really just like, yes, like, come on, do it, go kill him. I mean, I kind of am always on like that for most of them, but like she really made you, she sold it pretty well.
No, you end up liking her quite a bit, because then, I mean, I think it's also because, this is not finding anything.
It's okay. Let it go. It's okay. It's okay.
I think it's also because she's not entirely good.
No, yeah, right.
So I feel
her
like
character is,
it's
also
easy
too,
to relate.
especially because whenever there's that moment in the movie, I'm like, you know what would I have done? And
I would have done the same
thing, right? Once I heard that the amount,
7 million,
7 million, literally million, right? Yeah,
7 million.
Yeah,
yes. Yeah. My husband would have been all over that.
Million.
I just made a milli.
And so
okay, the beginning of it, as we get into it.
So
I like the opening.
I did too.
And how they're kind of letting you know that she's some sort of, like, skiing is clearly in her past, because she's, you're hearing a broadcast of like the actual news channel.
Yeah.
As she's packing.
Yeah, you hear it on like a TV or something or a radio. You don't really know quite yet, but she's getting all her shit together, and you think like maybe she's it's on the TV. That's right.
Yeah, it is on TV.
That's on the TV. Yes, my bad. And so then you don't. I really like this part actually, and I wrote it down because she's not looking at it, and that's your first clue of her like actually being visually impaired.
I didn't pick that up then until she was walking out with her suitcase.
Yeah.
And then at first I was like, is she like, because she had the wheels not on the ground, I was like, oh fuck, like what's happening? Are we like escaping? Like, is there a ghost? If she's gonna, I literally did not look into this movie at all.
Yeah.
So I
you went in blind. Yeah.
Yes. And
literally.
And so I was like, fuck, is something gonna like pop out around from the corner? Like, are we getting right into it? And then we find out she's trying to kind of sneak out of her parents' house.
Yeah.
And yes, as she was leaving, I put, oh shit, wait, is she blind? And I put, and sneaking out.
Literally.
She
and
was.
It's the way that I was like, she is like quite literally sneaking out so perfectly, almost gotten, until she gets caught. But like, she was so quiet, like effortlessly, just like, while the mom was also watching us the same thing downstairs in the living room. And
I feel like it must have been somewhat in part due to the fact that she is blind, and her like sense of hearing, her hearing abilities are typically high end. Yeah. And so she probably is able to like kind of manipulate sound pretty well.
Yeah.
And
it's giving me very Toph.
Yeah.
From Avatar. Did you ever watch that show?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yes.
I did.
And so, she's about to get out of the house, but just right before she does, her mom catches her and is like, what are you doing? Or she's like, you're really trying to sneak out right now or something like that. Yeah.
I was like, I felt like I was caught. I was like,
Same.
damn it.
Yeah. Because she almost really made it out. And then
she did. It was just the little click of the door, or I guess maybe something else, because the mom seemed like
the mom maybe
she
at
was
that moment
kind of
just
standing
like,
there for, because she was already behind her whenever
it's like
she said,
spatial
what are you
awareness.
doing?
I don't know. But moms too just happen to have eyes in the back of their head.
That's right.
It's a very true thing.
You give birth. All children have 4 eyes. They give 2 eyes to the mother, though, in the birthing process.
That's what your mom told you?
This is science. No.
That's science.
Actually, I just made that up right now.
That is so good. If I ever have a kid, that's what I'm saying. But like for me.
Yeah, saying,
you were born with 4 eyes, but I took the 2 eyes.
I took 2.
For you and put them in the back of my head.
So that way I can watch you.
At all times. And they move.
They're going to be traumatized.
Literally.
My mommy. My daddy is. Do you want to be mommy or daddy? Or daddy?
I don't know.
Not daddy. I feel like mommy and daddy is so...
Sentient being. Yeah, I couldn't... I'm not... It's
sexualized now?
Yeah. I'll be...
Papa.
Papa. No, I don't know. I'd be like dad. Dad.
I'd be like Dad.
Yeah, but just like that with the stutter and everything.
You gotta like really draw out the D at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
And so she's basically about to go. She's got a job that she's getting ready to go do.
mm-hmm.
To go
She
watch.
says, I got another gig. I was
Yeah.
like, another gig?
Yeah,
What is she doing?
we're like, what is happening? And then that's the way her mom is then coming at her, like, where's the money that you're making coming from? I saw your bank statements, and like that was
'Cause
like
it was-
$4,200.
Yeah, $4,200, which is a
Sophie
lot.
tries to say that it was a tip that they leave her if, like, she watches the house well enough and all that stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
the
And then,
mom's just like telling her, like, it's okay if you have an OnlyFans or
is it a sugar daddy?
a sugar daddy, like, just let me know, kind of thing.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
I thought it
then-
was really funny.
Yeah, I did too. I was kind of cracking up. And
Mm-hmm.
then we kind of learned that she house sits, and then she even guilt trips her mom here, and she goes, "Are you telling me you think it's charity?"
Yeah.
Because her mom was like, "That's some tip."
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, damn, she's playing it real well. Oh, because I at first was like, oh fuck, maybe that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah,
And then it was like, you find out later that she's leaning into that.
yeah, she's really hamming it up. She's
Mhm.
really manipulative almost in a way. You know what I mean?
I mean, she's got to get away with them.
Yeah.
Somewhat decent crime.
Yeah, and also too because like I guess if she feels like people are gonna feel pity on her, like see her in a different way, like she's gonna use that to her advantage.
Yeah,
Like,
and I would too, because like whenever we get in later into the film and we see just the way that people talk to her, it's so demeaning and belittling almost.
like she's incapable
yeah,
of
they're
doing
like,
things.
oh, you poor thing, like talking to her like she's a fucking child.
Yeah.
She's an adult. She just can't see.
Yeah.
That's it. There's nothing else is different
and
about
also,
her.
Well, and also too, I guess it also falls into like the fact that I don't know what type of level of fame she has, but people know who she is because of her skiing accomplishments, and so people are also I feel like
she was on the Olympic track.
are
so.
pitting her because they feel like it's like that story of like you had it all and now like you're blind, like poor you kind of thing. And I feel
True.
like that's probably also infuriating for her 'cause she's like, don't remind me of what I already know I've lost kind of thing, you know? So it's probably pisses her off. I'm sure I'd be pissed off.
Oh
too.
yeah, I would be equally as grumpy and wanting to be independent as she is, because we basically find out she doesn't want anyone's help. I mean, her mom.
She's very independent. She's very like refuses when people try to help her. She's like, I got it. I can do it on my own type of vibes.
Which I'm like, yep,
I feel that 100%.
I would have been doing that too. I put good thing the mom is hugging her goodbye, because I put like I feel like she's gonna die for sure. I was wrong, but.
And then we get to her heading over to that big old house. And
They give us all the little
the montage of
subtitle.
like her driving through the woods.
What's this?
Or what the
We get the credits.
The credits,
not
yeah,
the
through that as
subtitles.
well of her driving through the woods. It gave me, and the music that was playing gave me very Twilight.
Yes, it.
Did it not? Even though like the scenery
Uh-huh.
kind of gave me Twilight.
Very Forks, Washington.
Yeah.
It is in the Pacific Northwest. Wait, no, it's not. It's in fucking New York, is what they said.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
and
looks beautiful.
it
But it was
does.
probably filmed in Canada.
Probably, yeah. Nice, but very gloomy mountain road shots. Like,
Yeah.
well, not gloomy, but it's got that kind of winter gray.
That vibe. Snowy.
Yes, snow filter. That's the word I was going for.
And so we have her then getting
It
dropped
also
off
lets you know
by
that with how long I feel like it took
the
them to drive.
Yeah,
it
it's
lets you
preluding
know
to like
just how remote this house is.
it's in the middle of nowhere, you guys. So that also ties into it later on in the movie, obviously, of course. And so we have her getting there, and she's getting off, and the cab driver is like, or Uber driver basically is like trying to help her, but she's also being very like, don't touch me, like I can do it on my own.
Yeah, she's like, this is mine. I got it.
Yeah, and she's also telling him that she can find her way to the door. He's just like telling him to like
Point her in the
point her in the right
direction.
direction kind of thing. And so yeah, she ends up going to the door. She gets over some steps, and then the owner of the house, Deborah, greets her. And then that's where we find out Deborah also is kind of an ableist.
Did she?
And just kind of
I couldn't tell if she knew she was blind.
I don't think she did. And
Okay.
that's also, I think, what caught her off guard, I think. Maybe not. I don't know,
Yeah.
because she was kind of guiding her to come in. So I don't know. Maybe
But
she
I feel like
did.
that's normal, like house etiquette. Like, you know, if someone was
Well,
coming into
I
my
know-
house, I'd be like, Come
I think,
this way.
honestly, I think she did know she was blind because I know in a little bit she starts talking to her about when she was on the app, looked at someone else, like, right? She said something about like some other girl.
It was so last minute, and you're the only
option available.
Yeah.
And I think that's what she kind of meant by she did know, but she was at that point just kind of like, well, not desperate, but just like it's my only option, so kind of thing.
Exactly.
Because we have her talking with Deborah, and then that's whenever Deborah is telling her that she got a divorce.
Yep, fresh
recently.
out of a divorce.
And
She said,
you
she said, I married older for maturity, not for money. Turns out he didn't have either.
Yeah.
He had no money and he wasn't mature.
Literally.
And I was like, oh. I loved that though.
Yeah, and I think it was right before that too. Sorry, whenever she comes in and the cat's there, little kitty, and then she starts giving her the snacks, and then the owner is like something.
Be careful, she's allergic to gluten.
But then she already knows. Like, I called your vet before I got here.
Yeah, and I would have been like, damn. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But then also
I put like overachiever.
Why is my vet giving out that information?
Yeah. I was like, that's weird.
I mean, I guess unless it was through a house sitting like app or pet sitting app.
If it was already on there.
Had it listed with the vet's name so that way you could call them directly. Never mind. It's not as creepy as I thought. Like, I was like, why is the vet giving out pets information?
The noise that was making, sorry. But yeah, I guess so, but I still think that's like, because I don't feel like most apps are that in depth to like put, maybe if you put it in like special footnotes or notes on an app or something, I guess.
I feel like a lot of the times, because like even with Chewy and stuff, you can connect it to your like actual vet. Like you can create a profile that your vet can connect to. And then so any like foods they recommend or something, you can then pull it up on Chewy and buy it through there. And so I'm thinking like maybe
that's how she found out.
Yeah, that there's like in this pet sitting app, there's like a way for you to put the vet's name and phone number. So that way, if there was an issue and like it was too important that like, you couldn't really call the owner, you needed to get to the vet right away.
Yeah.
You could call the vet.
Which would come in handy, obviously.
Exactly. So I'm thinking maybe that was that. And then like maybe the app like allows the vet to give permission to like certain people. I don't know. That's just maybe that was what I thought.
Okay, no, that does seem less creepy. I just still found it to be like kind of weird that she did that. But that's just me.
Yeah, she could have just been like, "Oh no, I read the page." Like, saw that your cat was gluten free. I don't know.
Yeah, but anyways, we then have them have that conversation about like where she doesn't tell her where she's going, but she's going on some vacation, right, or something like that, because she's recently divorced.
Ciao, and she leaves. So I was like, is she going to?
Yeah. Oh, and before she leaves, she's trying to Italy, I guess. Right?
Italy. Yeah.
Before that, she's trying to like tell Sophie like this is where this is and that is. I should probably show you. And Sophie's very like, nope, I got it. Like I got it. Sophie is also very short with her and very kind of
curt. Yeah.
Curt. And yeah, I guess that's. I mean, at this point, she's not necessarily rude with her, but she's very curt and very like
basically I got
cutting
this.
her off.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, we have Deborah leaving, but right before she leaves, she tries to hug her.
She opens her arm, and then Sophie's like facing the slightly
wrong way a little bit, and she's
yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, you're blind.
Yeah,
visually impaired. Yeah." So we have all of that happening, and then she then immediately right after that calls her homeboy Cam.
Yep, and the way that her personality changed
switches up with him, yeah, because she's
comfortable. It's her friend.
Yeah. But it's the way I was kind of like, oh, this little bitch, okay, faker. Because I was just like, oh wow, she's like really just like
complete 180,
self-sufficient. Like she's totally relying on him to like tell her the layout of like the rooms and stuff and like where things are.
Which again, I would also do.
Yeah.
But she doesn't want someone. She doesn't want someone who's going to look down on her.
Knowing that about her.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to seem weak
she wants
or
her
vulnerable.
Friend, who she's given permission to help her. Because clearly she's got a little bit of trust issues, I guess, or I mean, not trust issues, but
just some issues there.
If you only help her if she wants your help, and the only person whose help she wanted was his. Because
most people feel like they have to help her when she's not asking for help kind of situations. Yeah. But he's helping her, and she's making her way through the place, and he's like, do you want to go this way and that way? And so finally she ends up getting into an area where it's like the downstairs, whatever, and she goes through this hallway, and it's where they're
They find, yeah,
So, yeah, right before they get to that like area, there's, because it comes back later, there's like a dead zone that she walks through.
Yes.
And I really like how that kind of played into it later. But anyways, she finds her way into.
Sorry, I do like how it takes you through the house very like kind of step by step. So you get to like kind of see this house with her, and then just the way that it was filmed, even though like we were just doing a normal walkthrough, like basically with him and her, I still felt uneasy the whole time, like because I was just like, like what's
something
gonna
can happen now, kind of thing. Yeah.
And then seeing all the like this house is fucking baller.
Yeah.
But and then the big ass windows were so beautiful, but also so scary,
so see through and like
And I expected that
love
to come
and
into play.
hate houses with like windows like that, like floor to wall, like ceiling. Floor to ceiling, windows, and like I love how it looks like during the beautiful daytime and shit like that. But like nighttime, that is kind of really freaky.
Yeah, I'd have to have some sort of panels that close. Yeah,
that is very freaky, and I'm not comfortable with people like seeing everything inside, like because I've seen so many movies where that's like you can see inside.
Yes, exactly.
That's creepy.
They also, I feel like during this time, they kind of point out a bunch of the key places that are going to come into play later. So like when we enter the kitchen, the first thing you see is the knives.
Yeah.
Knife set
that's
there.
True.
And then as we're walking along, we see a greenhouse that had a fucking beautiful bentwood rocker in it.
Definitely plays into it later.
Exactly.
Oh, that greenhouse. Nancy would love that greenhouse.
Oh yeah, she would. That
Shout
right
out
up her
Nancy.
alley. Yeah, play mama. And then yes, the way that we were going down that hallway too was also terrifying.
Yeah.
Down to get to that last door.
Which was also weird too, that I was like,
because it was really dark there.
and it looked so weird and different too. And I was also thinking like, why don't we turn the lights on? But then I'm thinking like, oh yeah, duh, because she's blind.
She's blind.
She doesn't necessarily need
and she
them.
has the flashlight on her phone going
for
and
him,
stuff.
for Cam. Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, yeah, there you go.
But for us as the viewer, that's eerie because we were used to like, I'm used to lights being flipped on, and so I'm just like, oh man, okay, this is unsettling as well because it did look a little scary.
This is a very dark film. I was telling Josh on the way here that I wish I would like to watch this film again, like in the pitch black, like dead of night kind of thing. And you don't have to drink it.
No, I like it.
Clearly don't.
No, I want it. What's the alcohol content on that?
Probably not much on this one.
15%.
Okay, yeah.
That's a lot. It tastes like a lot.
Yes.
I'll take it.
Good.
Anyways.
But yeah, so it is a very dark film. Like there were so many parts of this which I couldn't see with my window being slightly open.
Even me, you said you watched it with like daylight, right?
Yeah, I literally watched it right before coming here.
Even me watching it on Saturday night, in a dark like living room with all the blinds closed, all the lights off. There were some moments, especially throughout like when a lot of action is happening, where I was like, oh, it's so dark, I can't see much of anything other than like maybe at a certain time like people's faces flashing by because of light or something. But
which is awesome. Like, I mean,
it plays
I feel
to
like
the movie.
Yes, it really puts you in it.
But
just watch it in the dark, y'all.
Or turn the brightness up on your TV a little bit.
Oh yeah, I always forget that's an option.
That helps out.
I have no clue how to do that.
But I mean, that's the theme in a lot of horror movies too, though, is just like darkness and because like I guess it helps add to the scary.
Exactly.
But like there's sometimes you just can't really make out what's happening.
Yeah. This one was very dark, and so as we were walking
like,
down this hallway,
Alien?
Yes.
Anyways,
yeah,
all right.
same vibe.
Yeah.
And but yeah, so as we were walking down it, and they're opening up each door, right, just as you said, right before that last door, there's like a
dead zone.
Yeah, it was like connection,
really weird
weak,
glitch,
blah, 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 whatever FaceTime says whenever it pauses.
Yeah.
And stuff. I don't remember. But yeah, and I really thought something was gonna be. I thought there was gonna be like a dead body stored
in. Oh no, yeah, she was gonna find
in
something
the
in this
last
house.
door.
Yeah, I
yeah,
feel that.
and basically Cam was gonna be like, "Oh my god!" Like I don't know. I had so many different ideas. I was like,
the anticipation was running for you
this
already.
Woman like a murderer, or she killed her husband, and he's actually in the cellar.
I could see that, and going in. So I think the premise for me kind of gave me more of a setup. So I wasn't expecting anything at this point. But if you were going into it without any like reading of this, like the description of it, I feel that. Yeah. So I can see how you were like, oh, shit's about to happen.
Yeah. I was like, because it felt so creepy. They did a really good job of building up the suspense.
Yeah.
And literally all she was doing was opening doors. But I was like, what's
that
behind
is kind
door?
of scary.
What is behind door number 3?
That is scary.
Like,
yeah. It's like in cartoons or wherever, or like dream sequences or nightmares when you have to choose what's behind each door, and it could be some sort of bad thing that you don't know what it is.
My kids, this is going to be a shout out to Kesley. Kesley, one of our like top tier, one of our number one listeners. She is a borderline former student of mine. Anyways, her first year that she ever marched, we did a marching show called I forgot. Yeah. But it was based on Sarah Winchester.
I don't know what that is.
Like the Winchester Mansion, and just like,
I feel like I know what that is, but
yeah. So they're the creators of it's like the family line of the Winchester rifles. But anyways, like basically, she just kept building and building and building onto this house to like create like extra rooms because of all these ghosts and stuff, and was kind of losing her mind like in the house. Really, there is a
the Hill, like the Hill House kind of vibes, where he
more
was
so
kind of
like
building
doors that lead to nowhere or staircases that go into the ceiling kind of thing, but like or doors that literally just open to the outside of the house.
That's
adding and all.
Sounds chaos. Yeah,
yes,
I feel that.
Yeah, and it's very. There is a movie that recently came out, and by recently I mean in like the last like 6 years, called Winchester or something. It was all right.
Horror movie?
Yeah, give or take, because it is centered around ghosts and kind of her decline. Anyways, there was a point in the show, because of all the doors and stuff that were built into the house, where Kesley, she was Sarah. She's who I chose on her first year because her expressive qualities are just immaculate. She's very good. And I could tell from the beginning, I was like, nah, she literally was the solo person of this whole show. It's like out of the band, everyone, like she was it. Yeah. And she nailed it. Yeah. Sorry. I was like, wait, I shouldn't say F when I'm talking about my kids. Anyways, but there's a point in the show where she had to open up these doors that we had that would move around the field.
Yeah, that's cool.
And behind the first like 3 doors, one had like a brick wall, one had fire, one had something else, and then behind the last one that she opened, she fell through it.
That's really cool.
And so it's kind of like,
I love when a show is really tells a story.
Yeah, and that one did.
A marching band show.
It kind of gives me that vibes. I was like, I don't know what's there could be fire behind that door. Who knows? Yeah. But anyways, I had to brag on Kesley for a little bit. She's about to leave me, so I'm sad.
Yeah, swoop whoop, shout out. But yeah, so she ends up opening the door, and what's behind the door?
A wine cellar.
Wine cellar, yes. And so we get to all these wines.
My personal favorite. Then I was also thinking of Ganja and Hess, and I was like, there is going to be a body in there.
Yeah. Always, it ends up happening. And so we have her going through the wines, and she's asking Cam, like, ooh, what do we got? And so he ends up Googling this one that she pulls out, and he finds out that it's like, what, worth $4,500?
Yeah, something like that.
And so then she's like, score. And so she's going to basically, essentially, she's going to steal this bottle, and she's going to, get some money from it off the internet. And then he's telling her, like, he can't go through with this. He obviously has helped her out before, but he's just like, I don't want to do this again.
And we figure out this is where the last tip came from.
Yeah, and that's how she was making the money. Yeah. She was selling things on the internet and kind of getting really expensive things and selling them for cheaper than what they're worth. But obviously she's making a profit because she didn't put any money into it at all.
Exactly. It's stolen. She tells the people later, she goes, it's like worth blah, 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 but I was going to sell it for $3,000.
Yeah.
Which is, damn.
Because for her, I guess, wine? Too, she also says later on, which is, I guess, is a theme for her at this point, as trying to, not for the good of things, but use this to her advantage, her just like in being blind now, saying that who's going to suspect the blind girl?
Yep.
So she tells Cam she's going to do it, but then he's like selling her, he doesn't want her to. And if she does it, he's done.
Yeah.
He no longer like wants to talk to her, I guess, or whatever.
And he says, you have the courage to rob a house, but not go down a hill like blind, basically, or like not follow me as like a
guide.
Yeah, a guide.
Which is also building into the layers of like, what
the story and their
relationship and what we see at the end and like yeah
which is, I mean, and she bites back with you try going down a hill blindfolded at 110 miles per hour and then talk to me, basically. And I was like, yeah. I was like, I would have more courage to rob a house than do
also,
that.
Also, too, though, if someone is trying to be a guide to someone who's blind or whatever, however in depth their visual impairment is, like, you should probably do that too, just to like have the experience. Because then I feel like it would make you a better instructor and guide than
like have someone guide you.
Who already knows what you to do that. So that way
you know just how much help you need.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that's all the more educational for the person who's being the guide.
Yeah, I agree.
But so we have that happening, and then we have
she gets grumpy, hangs up.
That's right. But
yeah, so they go up. She goes upstairs to her room, and she's going through her voice messages or emails, basically, and they're being read to her. And there's one from the Paralympics team being like, turn in your deadline, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then one from her mother, who in the call or on the car ride over to the place, had called her and said like, oh, check your email. I found this really cool app. It's going to help you. And then she like fakes an interference. But so basically it comes up again. And there's this app called See For Me. Hence the title
of the movie.
And so I was like, okay, yeah. Earlier when it was all happening, I was like, that app is going to be what saves her life. And she's not going to fucking download it. But then she did download it like kind of immediately. And I was like, thank God, yes. But yeah. Yeah, so she's going through that.
But if her mom had emailed that to her, she would have
been. Yeah, she would have been.
Yeah.
Dead.
Probably.
It saved her.
And so we have her then wanting to smoke a cigarette, right?
Yeah, something like that. She's going out, and then she gets a phone call
from Deborah.
Yeah, but she answers it as if it's Cam.
Oh, that's right. And she's like, I put it back, and then Deborah's like, you put what back? And she's like, oh, never mind. And so then Deborah has her put on the security alarm system with her because she feels more comfortable like doing it with her. So she does. But then we have Sophie walking out to smoke that cigarette. Too. Yeah, we have Sophie going outside to smoke that damn cigarette. And immediately she goes out there, the door closes behind her, and she's like, oh, shit.
I just locked the house.
Just locked herself out with the security system on.
And now she's locked out of that house.
And I thought immediately, I was like, oh, fuck. That's like... That would be the worst thing.
I probably would have
I've locked myself out so many times, but like still.
I felt like I would have called Deborah and been like, hi, I accidentally got
That's what I would have done too. But I don't feel like she wanted to seem incompetent in any way. But yes, that's what she should have done, because it would have been the easiest thing to do. It's like, hey, I'm learning your house. I accidentally just locked myself out. Can you let me back in?
Yeah.
Disable it.
But yeah, as we've discussed, she's not open to asking for help or receiving it in general,
especially from people she feels like are patronizing her.
Exactly.
So she goes to the See For Me app immediately, more so, and because she can't call Cam.
Yeah, because he just said he was done.
So she gets this one lady who's trying to help her out, but she's kind of also like not being that much help at all.
No, yeah, she's fucking condescending as all get out.
Yeah,
she was like, oh, you poor thing. I think she literally said, you poor thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
That's rude.
Yeah, it was.
So then we have her trying to help her, but not help her. And so then Sophie hangs up on her. And then we have her trying again. And that's when we get introduced to Kelly.
Yes.
Who is a gamer girl in her basement, I'm assuming. She's playing some games with some dudes and she's talking with them. But then her little app starts going off and saying that someone needs help. And so then she answers it. And that's when we get her first interaction with Sophie.
Yep. And she is actually helping. And I like the way that she doesn't bullshit with her at all. She's being real. She's like, I'm talking to a fucking stubborn blind girl.
Yeah, because at that point, she's trying to help her, and Sophie, just like with everyone else, has been very curt and like rude, almost.
Kind of snapping back, yeah. And so I really liked their interactions.
Yeah. She wasn't afraid to put her, like, not only say put her in her place, but like give her what she's giving her, but also like doing it in a very respectful and patient way.
Yes, yeah.
She never was like being a bitch back to her. She was just like,
I think she was returning the same energy in like kind of giving. It was like a little bit sassy.
Yeah, and most definitely.
You could tell that. I mean, because Sophie didn't immediately go like, "Excuse me, bitch." Like or something like that Sophie was she was liking it because this person wasn't beating around the bush and was
being like poor baby or being pitying her.
She was basically just like giving it right back. And Sophie was like, okay, like this is a person I can keep up with.
Yeah, because we have
I ship them.
Yeah, and because Kelly also said, like, you know, I'm used to just calling people and they're asking me, like, what's the expiration date on this bottle, you know, and I have to tell them, but she don't really call people getting locked out of their homes like this, you know.
Yeah.
And not their homes. Because
Yeah,
she's like, at this
exactly.
point, I don't know if this is your home or not, or if I'm helping you B&E,
Literally.
breaking and entering.
Yeah.
So,
because the way that she does get in is she finds a sliding door and basically Kelly's
Jimmy's
like,
it. Yeah.
if you do this, she was like, there's no rod there, so you can just lift it up enough until it kind of
falls off the track.
exactly and lets you in. And then she was like, did you just like, she said, you just helped me. Like, what if this wasn't my house? Or what if like I wasn't supposed to be here? And she was like, I've done worse kind of thing.
So it also gives you more to like her character and like a little
I was
bit more
wondering
of a
what she
layer.
had been through. I was like, I honestly wasn't
At that point, I called
expecting
it. I said military.
I
was
wasn't.
like, she's in the military, especially because whenever she was playing the games with the people,
yeah,
I was
true.
like, oh, no.
Yeah, I don't
military.
know. When she said that, I was
It's a
like,
shooter game.
I thought that maybe she just, had been into breaking and entering into houses before. I mean, with the
Or
military.
been like in the law, like or illegal things or
Yeah,
crime.
exactly. And like embezzlement or some shit. I because I guess in my mind I was like, so often you think, oh, you've served your country kind of thing, and so like it's a good thing that you did, but then there's that so fine line, especially when you actually do have to kill people on active duty and stuff, that
And then it depends on what you
the guilt that lives with you.
That and like wars are kind of like in the sense like, so the innocent people die more
Exactly.
than like
Than the actual
who
people.
should people that should be held accountable for whatever is happening. And that's also like depending on whatever the agenda is that people get sent on to go do these things, because sometimes they're not right at all from the get-go,
but they have no way
they're following
to
orders,
exactly,
basically, essentially
their life is going to be on the line basically, or not necessarily literally, but like, I mean, if you're dishonorably discharged from the military, like you're not going to get a lot of help at all,
no benefits.
ever. And so that just wasn't where my immediate thought went to. But then whenever she said it later, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
It kind of makes sense, yeah. After everything that kind of led up to that, and so we have all of that happening. She got into the house. And then right after that,
the alarm starts going off.
Yeah, because she's like, oh shit,
because she broke in.
So she has to go shut it off.
But all the while she's panicking and like just kind of trying to run and like is stumbling over things, and
which I thought already was like, fuck,
yeah,
she's knocking over all these fucking plants. I'm like, Deborah's ain't gonna be happy about this.
That's right. And then I figured that one plant knocked over is probably going to come back into play later, and it did. Yeah, she trips on it later.
Yeah.
So,
but I think it's also the same plant, like, or vase or whatever that she grabs a chunk of later as well, right?
Probably, to throw.
But yeah, so we have all that happening, and then she gets back into the house, turns it off, and then did Deborah call back or
no? She basically just hangs up with Kelly, and I was like, oh yay, she made a new friend. And then really it just kind of pans to darkness.
That's right, because it's nighttime now.
There's a shot of someone outside the house saying like, we're good. And so it's like, oh fuck, someone's outside the house, which is obviously what we expected.
Yeah.
But then he's like communicating with people, and we see this truck roll up, and it's like, fuck, others are there too. So that's like,
yeah, that's when we know that something is about to happen. It was
Mm-hmm.
giving me kind of another movie I saw, a mix of movies, I guess, too. Kind of because we like the past, or just a few years ago, I guess there was a lot of kind of home invasion kind of movies, and where people were like Hush and like Don't Breathe, and then even before that though, it's kind of giving me like The Strangers vibes, ish, and then even giving me there's this other movie called Panic Room. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Yes.
And so it was kind of giving me those vibes.
That's what I think I thought Escape Room was at the beginning.
Okay, I can see that.
Panic Room with like Kristen Stewart, right?
Yeah,
when she was
exactly, and Jodie Foster.
Yeah.
That was a good one. And so you need to take a break now.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Yeah, so this is when basically these motherfuckers start rolling in, though.
Yeah, it takes
And-
off pretty fast because they get to the door
And they have the thing that helps you disarm.
they have the thing that disarms the alarm. They are able to
They
break
just,
in the house super easily.
It was so easy. Yeah,
They're
he
just
just
like,
held the box up and it went beep,
beep.
boop.
And so they get into the house
System
and
unarmed.
they yeah. Totally, it'd be anybody's nightmare. She
scary.
doesn't hear it obviously at that point still, and so then they
Yeah,
get
'cause
into
she's asleep.
yeah, and so they get into the house and they're kind of setting up into the living room area.
And I couldn't tell what they were going for. I was like, are they about to just like bring someone to this remote house, murder them? And I thought they were, because it looked like they were like setting up lights and stuff.
Yeah, I noticed
and
that
so
too.
I was like, are they laying down tarps? Like, I guess it was to eliminate any trace that they had been there, which makes sense.
Yeah,
But I thought that this was like some Dexter shit where they're, really
about to
laying
murder
out.
someone.
Mhm.
No,
And then
yeah.
like, we're going to maybe film it. I was like, what? Oh my God, what dark shit is about to happen?
and then
they're
we
just breaking in.
and then we learn that they have this false wall. Basically, and then it slides to the
Which was hella cool.
right or left. I know I want one, and behind it was a safe. So then
Mm-hmm.
we know, okay, they're here to rob and get whatever's in the safe.
Yeah.
And so we have them in the middle of that, and then they're making some little noises.
This is where I put, where the hell is the cat? All this time.
and then we have Sophie waking up, but then I guess she kind of heard something, and I guess at this point she thinks it's the cat, right? And that's I'm assuming why she starts using her app on her phone to call the caller on the app
Yeah,
on the
'cause
cat.
she's like, what's going on? Yeah.
And so then while she's doing that, then of course the people who are inside the house are like, what the fuck is that? And so one dude is investigating, looking around, trying to find it, and the cat is
so
moving.
nervous for her.
And so he's trying to find it, but the cat's also moving, and then she's trying to find it. Yeah, and it's also nerve-wracking because it's like a dark house, and we're just seeing them like kind of
they're-
basically move right by each other. And
Yeah.
they're just missing each other.
They are like just barely missing each other. It is like a fraction. Like if either of them
Of a
had
second,
been
yeah.
either faster or slower, they would have ran into each other, and like all this tension would have like not existed.
Yeah.
Which so they did a phenomenal job, I think, here of really building up that tension.
There's a lot of suspense because you're at the edge of your seat, just thinking like, oh man, at what point is she gonna get caught? And so eventually she ends up finding the cat,
Well, yeah, because
getting to her, right?
the guy gets to the cat.
Oh, that's right.
He gets down to Archie on some sort of base level of this house. And basically Archie's just like, okay, that's the cat's name.
Yeah.
Then gets up and goes upstairs, and then it runs past her. And she felt it. And so
That's
that was why
right.
she bent down, and I was like, ah. And then she stands up just in time enough to walk behind the next door as he comes up the stairs, and it's like,
Yeah, very nerve-wracking.
so close. And then then she finds, I guess, the kitty's bed or something. And I was so worried he was going to hurt the cat too. I was like, please don't hurt Archie.
Yeah.
But yeah, then she knocks over a vase.
That's right.
in
And that's
the-
whenever he's like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, because she's trying to feel around and see if she can figure out where Archie went.
Yeah.
And then knocks over this vase, and then it's like, oh fuck.
And that alerts him to oh shit, someone's in this house. And so that's whenever he goes back to the other guys, right?
Yep.
And is telling them someone's in the house. And then that's whenever they get the phone call.
Yeah, they
from
call.
or he calls the head honcho.
Well, yeah, I guess he basically says, stick to the plan until we hear from him. At this point, E is still making the calls. He's the one who's searching for Sophie. So we have O, D, and E. So far, we've only met D and E, who we later find out that D stands for Dave. E, we don't really ever know his true identity.
Yeah.
But E is the one who's searching for her. Dave is the one going into the safe.
And at that point, she also for sure knows someone's in the house with her as well.
She's like,
And so
oh, fuck.
because she's trying to get down to hide, and she ends up getting into this room where they're the breaker room basically, right?
Yeah.
And at that point I'm like, oh shit, if only she knew the breakers were there, and she was turn off the power or whatever.
Yeah, which she does later. But
Yeah. And so then we have, because she was familiar with that room, I didn't even think about that tying in later. And so we have her calling the cops at this point.
Yep.
And she calls 911. She's telling them that there's a home invasion situation happening. And then after that, she immediately calls Kelly.
yeah, because she says, how long will it be till they get here? And they're like, with your location, we can't.
Yeah, it's going to be
It's going to be a little bit of time. Yeah. And then she said, but the 911 operator says don't worry, I'll be with you the whole time. until they get there. Like, I'll stay on the line with you.
Yeah.
And then she was like, what the fuck? How the fuck is that supposed to help me? And hangs up. And then,
Literally.
calls Kelly. And I was just like, I mean, you're not wrong, but also,
They're just trying to help.
Yeah.
The homegirl's just trying to do her job. But yeah.
that she doesn't know.
I put she's bitchy. Damn.
Did she know? She didn't say she was blind.
No, she didn't.
And so it's like the homegirl's literally this is literally her job. That is what
Yeah.
911 operators are supposed to say.
Yeah.
And if there is something like a home invasion or there's someone
I
there,
mean, you're
like,
supposed to stay online with
because-
them regardless.
yeah, to help calm them down. And then also, I mean, that's evidence. If they quite literally hear you getting murdered and then they can find these people's fingerprints, like they can't get away in time, that's solid right there. You are connected to this crime.
Yeah.
So.
And so we have her then calling the Kelly,
yeah.
right? And she's trying to explain to Kelly what's going on, and Kelly goes straight into like, oh, okay.
She's problem solving mode.
Yeah. So she's like kind of basically telling her what is because Kelly presents her with the options of just like, okay, you can just wait here, don't move, wait for the cops to get here, and Sophie's like, I can't, like, I don't want to do that, like, I need to get out of here right now. And so then Kelly's like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. And so she's basically doing what Cam did for her earlier and is leading her, trying to get her out of the house. But it's the way that kind of almost at every turn they're having to avoid getting caught by one of the bad guys in the home.
And Kelly does a really great job of locating and being aware of both of their presences, like both of the men in the house, and guiding Sophie around them. And if only Sophie would listen.
Did you know what it kind of bothered me a little bit though? Did she have headphones in or something? No, right?
I guess she
And
must have
AirPods?
had AirPods.
That's the only thing that I can think
I
of.
never
because-
physically saw her put them in.
and her hair blocked her ears, so we can't tell.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to convince myself to believe, because otherwise I'm like, Kelly was just on speakerphone then. And then you're telling me they couldn't hear her the whole time while they were like walking to the house?
That's what I thought at first. And then I was like, yeah,
There's
I guess
gotta be
she's
some type
got to
of
have
AirPods or
AirPod in.
something.
Because
Yeah.
otherwise, yes, this whole movie, the plot would have been foiled.
I'm like, yeah, literally.
And maybe she did put him in it. What? No, I mean, I feel like
We never
if
saw it.
both
It would
of
have been
us
off
missed
screen.
it, yeah.
It would have been off screen. But anyways, okay. So back to the movie. She is then getting out. She's then, yes, like you said, not listening to Kelly, because at least a couple times she's not listening to Kelly and like what she should do. And then when she does do that at the end and kind of does make it outside, she gets caught by Otis. Odie.
ODE is what all their names are.
Yeah.
But yeah, she gets caught by O, and it was like, I was like, oh fuck, a different person is here now. So
Yeah, so
this
there's
is
three people now at this
he
point.
was the lookout we saw at the beginning.
Yeah.
Who basically was like, coast is clear, dudes, and then the other two rolled up in the truck.
Yeah.
So he was there from the get, and so he saw her wandering around outside, and yeah, he took her right out.
Yeah. And so we then have her waking up and struggling. Yeah.
Against them, and basically they call the master dude.
Oh, yeah, the bad guy.
I didn't know what his name was. I just kept referring to him as the master. That is not what they refer to him as in the film.
No, not at all.
It's just what I was like, who the hell is this master dude? I was like, he's calling all the shots, so he's got to be the one that's somewhat in on this. And
I had already pinned him as the ex-husband at this point.
Yeah.
I was like, that's the ex-husband.
that's what I thought as well, because like even the moment when she mentioned the divorce, I was like, it's gonna be the husband. And then at this point,
the way
I was
you mentioned
like,
that earlier, like, oh, you called it.
yeah, I was like, I feel like this is gotta be him. But so they call him, and they basically got him on speakerphone.
Yeah.
And and I'm also like, you didn't fucking know, unless Archie's new cat that she got after the divorce. But I'm
Could
like,
be.
why would you not know that your wife would have someone watching the pet if she's going clearly somewhere far away?
Or maybe he just didn't know or think. Maybe he just didn't think about the cat, and that kind of like it was an afterthought. He didn't think about.
But I feel like
maybe
if you're gonna go through trying to pull off such a
you would know
sophisticated
every
heist,
detail. Yeah.
that you would have, because they basically find out, no one's supposed to be there, and the master dude is basically saying no one is leaving. And then that's the way that they're like, well, we've got to offer. She's seen our faces, and then she's like, no, I haven't. No, I haven't.
I'm blind. And at that point, I was like, I don't know if that was information that I would have like volunteered like that quickly, but like okay,
But I
work.
think in that exact moment, it was what she needed to do, because then
Yeah.
it does play out in her favor. Because basically, she's like, I've not seen your faces. I don't know
She's
your
not
names.
a witness,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the guy on the phone basically says, no names, no faces. She's useless. And then he goes, no offense, Sophie.
Yeah.
I was like,
I love how he was like almost reasoning, like, but being the bad guy.
yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. Like, yeah,
I
he's
kinda
making
liked
very
him.
valid points. Yeah.
I was like, okay, he's going along with this. Good. And so she basically volunteers. She says,
She makes a deal with him.
yeah, I can call up the cops, but I want to get an equal share of that $7 million.
Yeah.
And he goes, I'll give you 5%, he says. And then he was like, how do we know that you're going to do this? And then she goes, open my bag. And they pull out that bottle of wine, basically.
Yeah.
And she's like, I was going to cash this. And that's why he laughed too, because he was like, this bitch was already going to steal from her. Like,
Literally.
I love her.
She's just our type of gal.
Stealing from my fucking ex-wife. It was funny. I liked it. Anyways.
And so, yeah, we have her striking up that deal. And then that's when he's like telling her, like, okay, well, you got to make it believable and all this shit. Whenever he's kind of having this conversation with her. And so she ends up calling the cops. But it's the way that she's telling them, like, it's not, she made an accident earlier. Sorry, silly me. I'm blind, whatever, yada. But she's like, okay, well, the responder's still going to get there in a little bit, because it's like protocol. And so then she's like, but I already told you, like, it was an accident. And so then they're like, well, I get that, but
Still
I'm
protocol.
still going to send someone up there. And so, sorry, I was trying to figure out what is 5% of like
7 million.
Yeah, and look what I got.
1.4.
I can't even use a calculator. 1.4 little E10.
What is
But anyways, I got
5%
distracted. And so, yeah,
of 7
she
million?
then is waiting for the cop to come in. And so finally the cop gets there.
Deputy Brooks.
Yeah, Deputy Brooks. She has
It
her at the
is
door.
$350,000.
Wow. Yeah, I would definitely maybe do some questionable things for $350,000.
Yeah, I would too.
And so, anyways, and so who done it? Go back to the podcast.
Us.
And so, yeah, we have the cop getting there, and first Sophie's talking her through the door because she doesn't want her to like come in. But then finally the cop
Which
gets
I
her to
was
open
like,
the door,
that's
which I was like,
pretty
that's suspicious.
suspicious.
Yeah, it's like you should have opened the door because already you seem like there's something.
He had
sus
told
happening.
her to basically play nice and let them feel as if they've helped you.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they don't feel like,
feel like if they helped you, they think something bad is happening. One.
Exactly.
And it also kind of like I feel like he's trying to basically stroke to the ego of the cop of like, okay, I solved this issue, now I can go.
honestly, what I feel like is that they weren't expecting a woman cop.
Maybe that
Had
too.
it been a male cop, I
Yeah.
feel like it wouldn't have gone over the same way.
Yeah, because a female cop too, I feel like is more in tune with like there could actually be danger here, and you're not allowed to tell me what's going on. Whereas that's maybe a male cop would be like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you're fine, kind of thing. And Brooks was so it was Deputy Brooks who comes out, and she like basically Sophie's like, yeah, maybe I was a little drunk too, mistook
Yeah.
the TV for intruders. But Brooks is being
already is like that.
smart and thorough.
And also, I'm just like obvious. I mean, it doesn't sound. None of it sounded right. You know what I mean? None of it. I was like that. That all sounds like.
I feel like the moment, I mean, unless
being
she
very
was trying
suspicious.
to stall because they weren't quite out and the deputy got there quicker than they imagined.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. They had that like basically exact countdown. And so I don't know. If I was her in that situation, I would have been like, hi, I think it was a mistake, but yes, please like come help and check. This is such a big house. Like I'm scared. I'm alone. I would have really leaned into it.
Right. Yeah. It was her time to ham it up, and she didn't. She was a bitch to her, like she's a bitch to everyone else.
That's right.
And so, yeah, we have them going through the house because Deputy Brooks is like really not having it. She's literally going through a lot of the rooms. I mean, this house, just like you just said, has a lot of rooms.
Massive.
And so she's going through it and she's asking her questions as well. And she's kind of like, Sophie's getting kind of annoyed at this point.
And Brooks sees that things are misplaced. She was like, you're missing a panel here. This is a fire hazard.
Yeah.
And basically is like, stuff is awry. Stuff is just barely out of place.
And yeah, exactly. And so then we have her kind of basically not satisfying to Deputy Brooks, but they get back to like the front door, and she's like, okay, they're about to say goodbye, and then we have her phone going off. And so then Deputy Brooks is like, don't you want to get that? And she's just like, oh no, I'll let it go to voicemail. Basically, it's not
And
important.
one of the guys had put it down.
Yeah,
too.
because it wasn't even there. So he set it down on the counter. And so then Deputy Brooks is like, I'm going to go answer that for you. And so she goes to get it, answers it, and gives it back to Sophie. And it's Cam, right? And so then...
Yeah, Cam had called back because she had tried to call
him earlier. Yeah.
During...
the freak out.
Yeah.
And so then... she's like, I can't talk right now. I'll call you back later or something like that. And so then we have Deputy Brooks, like, once again, kind of being like, if there's like at the door right before she's leaving, like whispering to her, if there's like a reason why you can't talk to me or let me know. Excuse me. Whoa. Sponsored by Coke, you guys. Let me know a reason of why, like, if there's someone here that's hurting you and you just can't tell me what's up. Like blink or whatever.
Yeah.
And so she's
trying
like,
to be secretive.
yeah. And
she's like, maybe they're really close by.
Yeah. And she's like, nobody's here kind of thing.
But then as we had seen, we didn't talk about it earlier, but we saw that Kelly, because she witnessed
what was happening earlier, right before she got caught.
Yeah.
She called
the police
station that's close to that area, or some database one.
I think she was probably following protocol and called through her actual
company,
and then was trying to figure things out. And she was like, you need to cross reference this because she's in Florida. And as we find out, she's like, her last tweet was in New York, puts her in New York, like
around
she's
this
up
area,
there,
general place. Yeah.
And is basically, she's playing like straight up detective.
Yeah.
And is like, you need to cross-reference this with all of your people in the networks and like basically call. And then that's what happens. So as she was trying to say bye.
Leave. That's right. She gets that little APB of like who it is. And they're like, she's like, describe the person who put the 911 call. And she was like, her name's Sophie. Yeah. And she's blind. And so
basically
we have the deputy barging right back in. And then that's whenever shit goes down.
Because E surrenders himself.
Yeah.
The man who is hunting her, not hunting, but searching for her at the beginning, he comes out and he's saying, like, it's only me, even though we had already heard on the thing that there's possibly at least 3 suspects. Yeah. And he was like, it's just me. And then she like keeps asking Sophie, like, where are the other ones? And he's like, why are you doing, like, I've already told you it's just me. And
at that point, that's before Sophie even says anything, right? And then I forget what triggers it, but then she screams, oh, there's more of them. Or
I think it's because, she asked her, like, I'm going to ask you one last time. And in that moment, E kind of attacks. And she's like, there's 2 more.
That's right.
And then, so E successfully kills her. He chokes her out with the handcuffs.
Oh, right?
Yeah, Brooks. Oh, does O come in? Is
that was the one that killed her. Yeah.
Oh. I thought E had choked her.
No, it was O.
With the handcuffs. Oh, dope.
It was O.
Okay, man. JK.
It was O, the crazy off the rails one.
Yes.
O's
the one who was like, let's kill Sophie from the beginning.
Definitely. Yeah, he's the one that killed the cop. And then that's why E was like, I was going to go away for a B&E. I would have gotten like 2 months and then that would have been nothing.
Yeah, because he hadn't successfully stolen
y'all
anything.
could have still gone with the plan and I would have just gone away. Yeah, kind of situation. He was just trying to take one for the team, basically. But O made it a lot worse, killing the cop. And so and Dave, the one who didn't want to be there in the first place because he thought nobody was going to be there at all. He just wanted to get the money. He was freaking out because now they got a dead cop in their hands. And so, and then now, what's her face? Sophie is like in danger because she ratted them out and went against the plan. So
so she knows they're going to be after him now. And so she's trying to escape again. And she's like, she's on the phone with Kelly again. She's called her is FaceTiming with her basically and is getting through. And
so when she gets to Kelly, she's like, they killed a cop.
Yep.
They killed a cop.
I know. And then she's like, I have to get out of here. I'm getting out of here. And Kelly's like, no.
But she ends up going out of there. Yep. And then Kelly's yelling her the whole way, I can't see out here. I can't see for you, And then she ends up, getting to...
She's like going down, but then she ends up back into the greenhouse.
That's
basically.
Right. Which I thought she was running away from the property.
I know, me too.
It made no sense to me.
I was like, because I had the kittens kind of like running around. So I was like, did I miss something? But okay, good.
You didn't. Yeah.
No, so that I thought she was running away as well. But yes, so I guess she was running down towards the greenhouse because there was that little stairwell and stuff she had to go through before she got to it earlier. So I guess it was something like that. But she gets in, trips over that same plant she knocked
Same
over
plant.
earlier.
And so then they're like, because at that point they're all looking for her. And so then E goes.
Oh, and at this point,
the,
she sees that she's got a gun. She's like, "Fuck, you got a gun?"
Yeah, because she stole it off. She took it off the cop whenever the cop went down. And so then we have her in the garden room. It's all dark. Everything's pitch black for the most part as well. And she's hiding from the
from E.
From anyone at this point,
Yeah.
because she doesn't know who's coming. But then E comes into the room, and so that's whenever she throws something, right, to kind of make a distraction. No, that's later on.
Later.
Sorry, but anyways, then Kelly has her stand up because then he points a light on her, is talking to her, and she's basically essentially going to shoot him, and Kelly's kind of directing her in how to shoot, and so
walked her through
it, and it's the way. Sophie kind of has a problem, like hesitation before pulling the trigger, but he gets closer and she's like, he's got a knife. So obviously she ends up shooting him.
And she fucking killed him.
Kills him. Yeah. And at that point, I'm like, wow, okay. Sophie's kind of a badass.
Yep. And
yeah,
like fucking shout out to Kelly for like not even hesitating to like help her fucking kill a person.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which is
my
like,
note is literally Kelly is living for this a little bit, which we find out later she kind of does.
Yeah.
She's living through her vicariously.
I couldn't remember her name, and then so I was like,
Kelly.
Yeah, I had to put like Kelly is gamer girl. And then she was like, she was like, I'm in the military, and I put, we got Cadet Kelly over here.
Oh yeah, that's funny. And I like the actress who plays her too.
I did too. Yeah,
she's great. I've seen her in a few other things before.
She's real pretty.
Yeah, she's a really good actress too. Her name is Miss Jessica Parker Kennedy. And she's been in like things on like The Flash. I know she's been acting for a long time too. She looks very young, right? And I mean, she's very youthful, I would still say, but she's 37 years old. She was born in 1984. Because I know I've seen her in things as far back as like early 2000s. Like she's been acting for a while.
Yeah. Wow.
Since she was young. Yeah. I mean, she's still young, but I mean, even her her younger days. But yeah. So she's got a good 10 years on us. Because she was in Smallville. Do you remember that show Smallville?
Oh, yeah.
That's from way back in the day, man. She had to have been like a teenager, like 14, 15, just like starting acting on that. But yeah.
Interesting.
So we have Miss Kelly helping her murder people. And then we have them going back, because after that, she's going back into the house. And she somehow makes her way back into the
wine cellar area,
right?
Which is like, well, the poor connection comes back into play because then basically Kelly's having to act blind, or Kelly's like, I can't see right now, like something's happening, and Sophie is having to basically fend for herself.
Yeah,
as O is now
behind her.
Yeah,
and he has a axe or something.
He saw the gunshot.
Oh, that's
go
right.
off.
Yeah, and he got an axe from the garage or somewhere, and so he's basically kind of behind her. And it's the way that's right, because she ends up going to that hallway, and that's whenever O just happens to be there, and he's chasing after her, and she starts shooting, and she's kind of shooting, missing, or I think she hits a leg or something at that point. But he, for some reason, is like Mr. Superman, and he doesn't die in this movie. It takes a while. I mean, he does, but it takes a
triple hit.
Yeah, like 4 or 5 bullets to take him out.
Yeah.
And so, anyways,
he's Michael.
running off adrenaline, and so he's still coming after her with this axe, and she shoots him. But then, like, she goes through that dead zone, and then she ends up getting into the wine room. But when she gets in there, she like falls and like breaks all these glasses and like trips over one as they fall as they're on the ground.
But that sound of the glass and stuff helps her know where he is.
Exactly. Yeah. And so
then I think Kelly's service, I think the service clicks back in right at the moment, end.
Yeah.
Like comes
in.
So then
he ends up coming right into the doorway, and it's like really heightened action at this point. And I'm telling you, like, a lot of this too, like, this movie's only an hour and a half, so it's a really digestible movie. And I like how, like, at this point I remember looking at the time, there was like 28 minutes I think left in the movie. I was like, okay, wow, like we're really getting to like the meat of the movie. And so she ends up killing the man. She shoots him a few times, and then he finally goes down.
Yeah.
But it was a really close call there.
She killed him for like the first dude, and then I was like, damn, she shoots another.
Yeah.
And
I was like, damn, she just killed another man.
Yeah. I was like, oh fuck, we going through him now. Okay. And then it's the way that after she kills him, Kelly's like, take a breath. And she's like, I am fucking breathing. And she's like, no, you're not. And then she was like, imagine you're at the top of the ski
slope,
hill.
yeah.
And she was like, how the fuck you know I ski?
Yeah. She looked you up.
And then that's when we find out they're being kind of raw, like real with each other. And
vulnerable.
so we find out that Kelly was in the 22nd Infantry of something. I don't know what that means. But
and she's not been able to, something happened, right? I forget.
Yeah, basically she was then put on desk duty.
Yeah.
And she was like, and then
She wants to
Sophie
be out on
said,
the field.
you make it sound like that's a bad thing. And she's like, it is. And I was like, wait, did she go rogue or something and like kill people, but like not enough to like make her to be discharged or what? Like, I don't know. But maybe her mental stability or something became not.
I feel like Kelly could have her own movie at this point.
I would
off
watch
of this.
it.
I would watch it too. Yeah. And so anyways, we then have her, breathing there for a moment. And then at that point, I think Kelly's like, okay, like just kind of wait there ish. But Sophie's like, nah, let's go do the other guy. Let's go. And so,
Well, yeah, because her phone's dying.
yeah, that's right.
And Kelly gives her two options.
Because she has
She's
10%,
like,
I think, at that point.
yeah, we can hear it go from 10 to
like
then
5.
5 and then basically nothing. And she's like, beep, you can have the option of staying here and basically posting up in the door frame. So if he comes down,
You can
you're
shoot him.
you're there and he's dead. You don't even need me. Or we can go find him right now,
Before
before
the
this
phone
phone dies.
That's right.
And kill him.
And so, that's their plan. So they go up, they get to the living room. He at that point is still he has like not headphones in, but like earmuffs because he was like trying to drill through the
He's using
hole.
power tools,
Yeah,
yeah.
power tools through the safe, and he ends up getting through there. And so he can't really hear her coming up. And I mean, she's also very quiet, but she's right behind him. He's about to open the safe. He does get it open. He unlocks it, and then he sees a reflection of her on the safe.
Yeah,
and it's the way
he looked around before that too, and was just basically like, guys.
Yeah.
Like he was in his own little world. It was so funny.
The whole time while shit's happening.
I feel like he's like pretty innocent.
I mean,
out of all
his
of
crime
them,
was only going to be theft. Yeah, I mean,
He
it was
wasn't
major
here to
theft,
kill
but,
no
like,
one.
Yeah,
Like-
and you can tell and that's why I feel like this movie really works too, is because all the characters I felt like were fleshed out, even like the bad people.
Yeah, like, I didn't want him to die.
I knew everybody's character as well because there was Dave, him who like felt like the guy who kind of was brought along, suckered into it for his talents, for his whatever that he could get into the safe. I'm sure they couldn't do that, so that's why they needed him.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't really want to be there. And then you had the off the rails kind of guy who's always unhinged and like wanted to just kill people.
Yeah.
And then you had E, who was very more like reasonable, logical, why
Going
he
through
was the
plan.
leader. And then you have from the get-go the guy behind the phone who's like in every movie the mastermind who's always orchestrating things. There's always someone who's like
but
pulling the
not
strings
getting
behind the
his
scenes.
hands dirty.
Yeah. So I thought it was, and even like our, Kelly and like we had Sophie, they were the only person who wasn't that fleshed out would be Cam and Deborah and the mom. But
yeah.
I mean, at that point, they're all like very side pieces. They weren't
But
there
even
to
then,
really,
like at the mom, like with the end, it's like it makes you feel like, okay, well, I like most of my notes at the end are like, oh, yay. And so but basically, I mean, I feel like I saw happy little moments and I knew to expect them. The moment she said that I knew how the parent or the person was going to react.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I knew what was important to them. So
the type
even
of character they were.
So I feel like the only character who wasn't fleshed out, Archie.
The cat.
Where the fuck is Archie?
Literally, you mentioned this.
He's not a paid actor.
Poor cat.
They just
Literally
found a rando cat.
had one moment. That was it. Archie was literally probably asleep or chilling while all this shit is happening.
Yeah, he's like, just feed me from my belly.
Literally. And so we have all that shit happening. She goes and confronts him, and then he's like, you don't want to kill me. Let me just take my piece and I'll go, and that's it. But she's just
And the
like
rest
not
is
having
yours.
it. Yeah, and she's not having it. And so it's the way that he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna take my money and go. So he like walks right by her, and
did we say that
And
the
I don't
phone had
understand
died
why. Yeah, the
this point?
phone
Died, so Kelly's not here anymore.
Yeah.
And he realizes that.
Yeah, and so it's the way that she's telling him, "Don't move, or I'm gonna shoot." And homeboy is just taking his chances, and so he sees like some sort of weapon on someone,
Yeah,
right?
he sees the taser on
the
the
taser on the
hip.
officer, and so he reaches for it and lunges for it to try to shoot it at her, but obviously she shoots him, like, and she's very close, so she literally just shoots him point blank basically, and he's gone.
Because with the movement, she heard where he was and was able to shoot him before and I thought it was a gun at first. I didn't realize that she had taken the officer's gun earlier, and so I thought it was a gun, and I was like, oh god, he's grabbing the gun from the officer's hip, and then you hear like the taser go off, and I was like, oh, well, okay,
And he
thank God it
doesn't
was just a
hit her or anything,
taser.
yeah.
Like, I mean, and so he probably, like, he only intended to stun her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
never,
still
like-
didn't intend to kill her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he
And-
was just at that point just trying to take his money and go. But he has a blind girl pointing a gun at her.
That's right.
And so, anyways, Sophie killed another person.
It was a taser. Anyway, she kills him.
Yeah. And so then at that point, then we have, I think the big bad comes.
Master dude rolls
up from his car, and we have the ex-husband coming in. And
He
that's
just
when
walks over this body.
Yeah,
He's like,
literally
"Nothing."
is just
He's like-
assessing everything. He's just like, oh crap, okay. He's like, damn,
Whenever he turns around, I was like, is he blind too?
right?
And I was like, no.
His character is a little funny to me.
Oh, yeah, well, he kind of reminded me of the blind guy from Get Out.
Blind guy.
The one who like who successfully buys.
Oh yeah.
His character.
I see that. Yeah,
They kind of have like the same like hairstyle
Yeah,
and
I
stuff
can see that.
and
Yeah.
face. Yeah, I had to actually look it up to make sure
Couple
they
of
weren't
white
the
men.
same.
Yeah.
But yes, yeah. So I was like, is he blind too? Because the way he was looking around looked as
I
if
think
he
he's just
wasn't making
loony.
Yeah.
He's just loony.
And I guess it was kind of dark in there.
A loon.
But
Yeah. And so I think at that point, I think he's just astonished as well. It's like, wow, this little blind girl just did all this shit. And so anyways, he's then calling out to her and is basically just trying to say like, you are my partner now. Like
whether you want to be or not.
Yeah, exactly. Because I guess he's holding this or thinking that he has this as leverage over her. Like,
Because he says his
I
hands
just
are
came
clean.
in. Yeah. You're the
'Cause
one
he-
that killed all these people.
He called the cops and he like said like,
That's right.
oh my God, like there's so many dead bodies, blah, blah, blah. Please get here soon. And they were like, we already have backup on the way, blah, blah, blah. And
Yeah.
at this point, he is just the ex-husband or like they're still going through the divorce. So I don't even know if it's, well, I guess she had just gotten out of it. But even then, like,
But I
they
think-
probably don't, he shouldn't have had access to the house, but it is slightly more understandable why he would be there
Yeah.
because he used to live there.
Yeah.
And so it's like, fuck. Like he really did paint himself a nice little picture for the cops to basically
There's a little
be
bit of
like,
an alibi there. But yeah, so that happens, but it's the way that she then turns off all the lights in the house.
she levels that playing field.
Levels it for sure. I like the shot
I was
of
like,
it. I like the
yes.
shot also of it like panning out away from the house, like the outside from afar, and you just see all the lights just boom, 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 and that
Yep.
like cut off a power noise. And so yeah, we have
It was
all that
awesome.
shit happening.
And he says, what a mistake, baby.
Yeah. And so then we basically have this kind of cat and mouse little situation happening because he's
and I
looking
guess
for her.
because it's on some sort of reserve lighting, like generator lighting. It's
The
got
red
that
lighting.
red flash
That's
going.
pulsing throughout all these scenes. It's such a chef's kiss to the end of it. Because
Beautiful.
even like if the movie would have ended with like the whole Dave thing and then like cops come and that's it, and like I would have been like, oh, okay, that was solid. But like this is like I kept telling Robert, I was like, this is like an act like 4, like like a double ending.
Yes, because it basically I was
It's like the big bad guy.
I was trying to wait. I was like waiting. I watched this right before I came here. So I was like looking at the time being like,
Oh shit.
fuck.
Yeah.
And then so I like clicked on it. And at this point, basically
There's
when
still
the
about a
lights
good,
turn
like,
off,
18 minutes.
18 minutes
Yeah.
exactly is what
Right?
it is.
Yeah.
And so it's like, but then I was also like 18 minutes and like with what is playing, the credits are included. So I was
Yeah.
like, we really only got like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, and y'all are, okay. I was like, shit's getting real right now. And we've got 15 minutes to flush it out. Let's go.
Yeah.
And they did it.
They really did it. They pulled it off.
And then some.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how? Anyways, yes. But at this, I also, this is really the only point I noticed the soundtrack too.
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't notice the soundtrack at any other point, which, so if it was playing
I don't think there was much
was
music.
so well
There
integrated
wasn't really that much
I didn't
music.
throughout.
No, yeah,
Okay.
just at certain points, but not really. No.
At the end, I couldn't tell
Just
if I
quiet.
hated it or liked it at first. I think I put, my next note says soundtrack at the end, ... Can't tell if I like it or hate it. And then I put, nah, maybe I like it. Because it would go from
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. There were some moments, I loved how it was playing on the like build up and then
The
cut
tension.
to dead
Yeah.
silence as you're seeing like each of them move through. But then there was like one moment where it got slightly too big that I was like, oh, you could have just gone one notch down and it would have
Yeah.
been better. But overall, I liked the
I liked
use of
it.
silence and then building up the
I thought
noise.
it created great tension for most of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it also just like, I didn't rely on like any music. It was just like scoring. So
Yeah.
I like that. And especially for most of it, because you're kind of caught in this, like, I mean, she has to hear them, so it has to be kind of silent and kind of thing. And most of the movie was silent moments unless it's just like chaos from like her running from someone or like her fighting someone.
Exactly. It reminded me a little bit of like The Quiet Place.
Yeah, I feel that.
Stuff like that, and how that movie really, really utilized the lack of sound. But yeah, so she's basically going through, they're playing, like you said, cat and mouse chase. And
he's looking for her and she's kind of getting away from him, eluding him. And then she finally gets like a glass off of a table after she gets or he gets a knife, or she gets a knife at one point. Someone gets a knife.
And well, he successfully shoots her in the leg.
Yeah. Because she throws the glass and is running at one point. And then he, remember?
Oh yeah, because he saw that it was a ploy and then comes back.
And then shoots her in the leg and she kind of half gets away. And
even if she could ski again, now she's been shot in the leg.
Yeah, literally. And so then he got her and she's gets away from a little bit, but she ends up on the floor and then he comes up from behind her, right? And that's whenever they get into like that whole...
Yep. Well, no, she's back in the green room
That's
now.
right. Yeah, the
she
green room.
She gets back
she's
to the
hiding.
green room. She's hiding. She gets to E's phone, the first dude that she killed in the green room.
That's right.
Gets the phone, basically like makes it to where it's unlocked, and then she hits redial, knowing that the last person E had called was the master dude. And because he's like using his flashlight, to look for her. So then that not only does that disable his field of view by getting a phone call, it also was a sound
for her to know where he was at,
for her to locate him and then shoot at him.
And as soon as she gets up, they both shoot at each other, but she gets the winning shots. Yeah, because he then goes to the ground.
And then I was like, oh, yes, these shots at the ends with the red light flashing and showing the scene and her like disoriented and walking off. I was like, this is beautiful. And then, fuck.
Oh, yeah.
He's behind her.
He's literally behind her.
I was like, he's not dead. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's literally the movie that kept giving.
Yeah, and then he like attacks her.
Yeah.
But then...
she's able to then fucking beat the crap out of him
with that $4,200 bottle of wine.
Literally, that comes into play, and she literally just keeps going in. Yeah. She literally is taking him out. I'm sure there was nothing left of his face.
She thought she was safe.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden
at this point
wasn't.
too, for her, I mean, it's life or death. She's got to make sure he's dead. Yeah. And so she literally keeps smashing his face in until like I think the bottle even breaks, and it's just
the bottle's broken, definitely. And then she's just like stabbing him with because like when you break a bottle of wine, it's some like at least in the movies they use they hold on to the neck and then use the broken
Shank
shards.
someone.
So that's basically what she was doing to his head. And I put fuck, she snapped, and she killed him real fucking dead.
Yeah, and then we have the movie kind of then shifting. She's in the hospital after all of that, and she comes out with her mom, right, on the wheelchair, and she's kind of has this kind of nice interaction with her mom where she's like, I called the whatever the slope, the Paralympics again. I'm going to join again.
What happened? So it like panned in on something, and I was like, damn it, I thought she was skiing again. Oh, because so it's we're going from her crying with those red flashing lights going into the darkness, and then it kind of pans in on the darkness, and then you hear go left, okay, now go right, and so I thought, oh, she's skiing again. I was like, she's being guided. And then we see that she's leaving the hospital with her mother telling her how to direct the wheelchair, which is like,
but I mean,
that's a big point, saying that she's allowing that help now.
Yeah. Because then even she's like, her mom, at one point she's like, Mom, I want you to like push me the rest of the way. And she's like, oh, okay, she's surprised.
Yeah, this is where I put, she's finally letting her mom help her.
Good little wholesome moment. And then, we have them
she says,
going through that, and then we have a fourth ending with her and Cam on the slopes, and they get to
it's the way that she did steal some again, because her mom was like, how are we gonna afford the skis and
all the gear and
the training camps and stuff, and then she was like, and she goes, too bad you didn't get a tip this time, huh? And then you see her kind of like clutch her bag and go,
oh yeah, because she asked, where's my backpack? Can I hold my backpack? Yeah, so she did take some money. Obviously, I would take some money too, because she was the only person who knew about the money in there. Yeah.
Exactly. I would have, 100%. And so I put, oops, she fucking stole again. I was like, hell yeah.
And she gets to the slopes after this. We see her with Cam, and it's kind of a good little feel-good moment at the end of the movie to kind of,
because she FaceTimes Kelly, and so it's like, oh yeah, they're friends now. Because Kelly's basically like, what up, bitch?
Yeah.
And then And I was like, literally, it's just all, oh, yay, Cam is here too. Ah.
Yeah, that's the kind of vibes at the end of the movie. It's very feel good. Yeah.
And then I like the
went through
little
so much shit.
callback. So basically, Sophie's going to go down the hill with Kelly attached to her and via phone.
Yeah.
And then Cam is going to be her guide. And as she's getting ready to go down the hill, we hear Kelly in her ear saying, like, now breathe. And it's just a nice little callback to with the breathe. And now she really is at the top of the hill with her.
Yeah.
And so it's like, that's so sweet. And then we see her kind of lean forward. And so we can only assume she takes off down the hill and roll credits. There were so many things that I kept like wanting to happen. I was like, oh fuck, like what if this is all in her head and she never actually got out and this is like a dream sequence of like how she wants it to end.
Maybe she lost so much blood because she got shot in the leg.
And she like thought that she killed him, and that there were so many different endings that I was like, I could have really gone for like her dying too, like all of them. But this was such a good, happy, feel good ending that I'm glad
that most horror movies don't really get.
No.
And not this happy. It was very much like the tone of the movie totally shifted, like the music and everything. Yeah.
It really, because like you said, again, the character development was very good. And so you're really attached to these characters. And so when you see them happy, it makes you happy.
Yeah. It's only more like more power to them.
Exactly.
Like,
which
and
is,
also
again,
like
really
a testament to like what they wanted to do. Because if we can say like, man, I want to see like a spinoff of all these characters, then like they really fleshed out something really good.
In a matter of an hour and a half, which is
pretty fast, because movies pretty fast pacing. It takes off pretty fast.
Yeah. It feels like you don't feel like you get a lot. No one's sitting there being like, well, this person is this, and then they did this, and this, and this is why we love them.
It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to explain things.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just see it for what it is.
And you get a feel for these people. Yeah, that's nice. So anyways, what's your boo rating?
I give it a 4.
A 4? Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other reason than?
Oh no, I give it a 4. I just really liked it. I thought like it kept me entertained. I like the suspense that it built throughout the movie. I like the characters. Really, I think that's the main thing, is I really just like the characters like throughout the whole movie, and it was very believable. And she gave a really believable performance throughout the whole thing. I didn't feel like it was someone faking, obviously, because she's really visually impaired, but I thought I really liked Kelly. Kelly was like a standout character to me. I was rooting for her too. And
the whole time I was like, the moment she like showed up, I was like, yeah, like this bitch. And she like sat down with a whole fucking pizza for herself too. And I was like, hell yeah, bitch, let's go.
I think that if I were to like say anything about it, like, no, not even. Like, I just really liked it. I liked Sophie's character. I liked that how, like you said, she was also kind of like not like a perfect, she was a flawed character. And I think it just made it that much more relatable.
Exactly.
And I like that she stole some of the money at the end of it.
Yeah.
Like,
because I would have fucking done it
she
too.
She deserves it.
She did. Like, if she
went through all that shit.
Also, I would have been like,
and I would have sued Deborah.
Yo, I know you got $7 million in there, and you put my life on the line.
That's what I would have told Deborah too.
Because you apparently,
it's either this or I sue you in a big lawsuit and we go to trial, because this is like a lot of things. This is the trauma.
Exactly. I mean, she had to she has one person's blood kind of on her hands, like the officer.
And I think the rest of the one was self-defense. It would be different if it was like a totally like these were random people. They were just stealing the house, but it was directly related to Deborah and her ex-husband. So that is like it's their fault.
Yeah,
that she was there. She should have dealt with that shit, and nobody would have gotten hurt.
That's right.
But anyways, what is your B rating?
I was inclined to give it a 3.5, but then as we've been talking and stuff about really the character development is quite amazing. I think I have to give it maybe I'll give it 3.75.
Okay.
4? Yeah. I don't know. 3.75. I really did like it. I thought it was very good. And maybe and give it more of a 4 if I watched it completely in the dark.
Okay,
or turned my.
I think this is one too that I would like. I would definitely too. Like, this is something I'd recommend to someone else. I'd watch it another time.
Oh yeah. I would watch it again, and I would
in the dark.
I would recommend this movie
12
to anyone.
in the morning.
Yep. 3 a.m. is where we get to see some of this shit is happening for her.
Yeah.
But I really did enjoy it. Like we said, the development of all the characters and stuff was so good, and it was a super easy watch, very easy to get through. And
nothing about it was like you didn't have to think too hard about it, like, which isn't a bad thing. Like, it just was really good. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that was Shudder's 2022 a C for me.
That's right.
I mean, not a Shudder window, but on Shudder.
A film that can be found on Shudder. And
Yes.
speaking of our month of Shudder, I waited till the last second to pick out whatever else I wanted to watch. And
What are we
I
watching
think
next week?
I finally landed on one because I wanted
What is it?
one that sounded fun.
Tell me right now.
Yeah, Josh doesn't even know. This
Tell
is
me.
news for him too.
I know. I've been waiting.
It's called The Medium.
The Medium.
It's a 2021
I love that movie.
mockumentary. So you watched
I'm
it?
kidding. I haven't seen it. But
I
I'm
was
excited.
like, it is a found footage.
You
but
love found footages.
I do. I really do.
Or a mockumentary. Okay.
I feel like it's going to give me very
Comedy?
Taking of Deborah Logan
Okay.
vibes. But the mockumentary is in that it's like supposed to be documentary.
I get it. I was like, wait, what? Is
but
it
it's
parody?
not it's
I
supposed
get
to be
it.
filmed as if it is a real
get
documentary
you.
taking place, but it's not.
I get it. Okay.
And I believe it is in Indonesia. Well, it's following. I think it's following a. Here we go. Okay. Mink may be adorable. La la la. As a documentary team follows northern Thailand-based shaman Nim Sawani Utuma. In order to record her experiences, it is revealed that her niece Mink is beginning to show strange symptoms related to a possession. So it is very
Interesting.
taking of Deborah Logan,
Okay.
which I do. I fucking love that shit. So I'm excited to watch it, and it seems really cool. So if you would like to watch that with us for next week as well,
Please
please
join us.
do.
Mm-hmm.
And let us know what you thought of that movie and also this movie.
Yes, C for me. Please let us know in the comments.
It's a good movie.
DM us. Yeah, for sure. And once again, we
I
are
thought you
in
said
the,
damn us.
DM us.
I was like, what do we do?
Also, damn us. We are in the Rogue Media Network studios where we record this podcast.
Always, and they always take such great care of us.
We implore you to go check out all the other podcasts on their network at roguemedianetwork.com, where you can
That's
find us, or you can also find us on other streaming platforms like
Apple and or Spoofy.
Spoofy, which is Spotify, but we like to call it Spoofy.
That's right. And wherever you do listen, don't forget to
Rate, review, and subscribe, and like and love, and tell everybody about us.
tell your mom, tell your cat, tell your cousin,
Tell your professors, tell your friends, tell your lovers, tell your exes.
anyone who likes horror movies.
Tell the dead.
Tell them.
Go to the cemetery and go tell everybody at every tombstone.
Get their reviews of the podcast. We need to know how many boos.
Literal boos.
How many of themselves would they give? Because we like to use little ghosts as the icon. Anyways,
Yeah,
yeah, that's the only way we can get ahead in life.
let's do it.
And then if you want to damn us or DM us, you can do so on Instagram. And our handle is
At Boobaes Podcast. All one word, and that's BOOBAES, because we're your Boobaes, not your Boobabes.
That's right. Yep. And until then,
Bye, bays.
bye, babes.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.